everyone. My name is Luyombya. I coordinate the CHAMP research study at the Committee for Access for AIDS Treatment CAAT in Toronto, Canada. It's a coalition of various service organizations that works to improve service access for newcomers, refugees, and non-status people living with HIV/AIDS. Today, we're excited to have two distinguished guests, Michael Abdulrashid Taylor and Alessandro Bisignano. They'll be talking to us about their experiences with the CHAMP research study and their HIV/AIDS work in the communities. Let's get started. Michael, tell us more about yourself.
So hi, I am Michael Abdulrashid Taylor. I am a leader within the Toronto Muslim community and part of the African Canadian community here. I'm a chaplain by profession and do work consulting around healing and anger and that kind of thing. And I've been part of the CHAMP study beginning earlier this year, and I'm really pleased to be part of this movement to get information to the wider community.
My name is Alessandro Bisignano. I am part of the Latino community of Toronto. I've been part of CHAMP. I'm a peer research associate for CHAMP, and I've been part of CHAMP since it's began a couple of years ago. And I'm also connected to the Committee for Accessible AIDS Treatment as well as the AIDS Committee of Toronto.
Michael, tell us your involvement in HIV/AIDS related work and what motivated you to join the CHAMP research study.
Well, from my end, I earlier in 2012, I was part of a Muslim community grouping that looked at HIV/AIDS within Muslim communities here in the Greater Toronto area. I was one of 4 imams that was part of that group that worked with HIV agencies, particularly Africans in Partnership Against AIDS. And we worked together to define some kind of strategy of response from the Muslim community to look at HIV/AIDS within that community. And so it was part of that group. And what came out of that was, an opportunity to do more. I think we ended up as a group looking at HIV/AIDS in the Muslim community. We designed and produced a brochure, and we had a community forum that really reached out to the wider community and did really, really well. But after that, what, right? And the opportunity to be part of this CHAMP study where additional training could be had, meeting with other people around the whole notion of social justice and speaking about AIDS to communities and community members was important, and that was the invitation that I got to be part of that CHAMP study.
For myself, I think since I was doing already work with the Committee for Accessible AIDS Treatment, I'm just going to call it CAAT, with the Newcomer Sexual Promotion Project, when I was in the office, they told me that I should apply for this position as a research associate. And then I remember I came to the OHTN, I got the interview with Henry and Josephine, and I really believed in the project and the cause just because I've been involved with the HIV/AIDS community for a couple of years now. And it's a great project which brings together both the PHA community and the community leaders together to work for the same cause.
Tell us your journey in the HIV/AIDS movement and what lessons have you picked from the CHAMP research study?
Well, for me, my journey with HIV/AIDS started probably back in the mid-90s, where I did my training at the Toronto General Hospital for chaplaincy, and I had a residency, so I worked in the hospital on a day-to-day basis. And at that time, a lot of people were living and a lot dying with AIDS, and part of my job was to respond to those spiritual needs in that community. So fast forward all these years, I guess would be almost like 15 years, right? Fast forward 15, 20 years. And here's this opportunity to work more in-depthly with the community that has had, that many years, 20 years of research, 20 years of development, and 20 years of knowledge about HIV/AIDS. And I realized that a lot of things hadn't changed, right? The stigma related to HIV, the fear that communities still had, the kind of distancing that faith leaders had from from HIV/AIDS was still present. So being part of that study helped me to try to respond to those things in my position as a faith group leader. What is my responsibility? What's my responsibility as a religious leader, as a Muslim, as a caregiver for spiritual and religious care? What are those responsibilities? And the study itself kind of equipped me with the tools that I needed to understand the nature of the disease, understand what stigma really means and how it impacts people, and what could be my role in lessening some of that stigma. Also, my role in demystifying HIV/AIDS and all of the related issues around it, poverty, homophobia, and all the other issues around it. So it gave the study itself, and participation in the study gave me the tools that I needed in order to combat some of those social inequities that are present. It also joined me with like-minded people, and also people that maybe I might not have met in my role as a religious leader, right? So I became part of a larger group of people working against the HIV stigma and really social justice around HIV/AIDS in the Greater Toronto area.
Alex, what was your overall CHAMP experience like? And what are the lessons you took from this study?
Well, we don't want to be here all afternoon, but just the main ones, like Michael was saying, I think getting to know people that we're actually working together, that is not a cause that is only for people that are infected or affected by, but it's a broader cause of people. And this CHAMP is, what I learned is just like, it taught me that people can come together unanimously to work on the same cause, regardless of where they come from, what social status they have here in Canada. And I think it's very important, since CHAMP brings together people from like faith leaders like yourself, media, and PHAs, just to work together, because sometimes the stigma that's out there, it enclose the people in a hole that I think they're not feel liberated. They don't feel proud of themselves, and they don't feel like they can go out in the community and be themselves just because they're HIV positive. So I think just the power of the connectivity between everybody that I've seen in CHAMP is one of the most grateful things that I've taken from it.
Mm-hmm. And I think getting out of, when you talk about people that are in a hole, I think that the people that the project attracted were all leaders, right? Yeah. I mean, like people that were really ahead of the game in whatever area they came from. If they were artists, media people, religious people, or community leaders, they were really ahead of the game. Yeah. And I think that what happened was, within the study itself, it gave those leaders opportunities to lead. Yeah. Right. That you can get out of the communities that you're part in, the segregated or the people that are placed in a corner. You're able to get out of that and start to do the work of leadership and empowering others and leading by example, by stepping out and saying, well, I'm part of this approach that says, let's work together against HIV/AIDS. Yeah. For me, it also was important to join with other people, because I think in my own circle, I have one circle of people, right? Yeah. They all seem to look alike or believe alike. But it was an opportunity for me to get out of my own box, to work with other people and to get different ideas about moving forward with this fight against HIV/AIDS.
How do you feel the issue of HIV stigma and discrimination affects communities here in Toronto, Canada, and beyond?
I think HIV stigma is still very prevalent. I don't think it's a fight that just ends with one research. I think it's a fight that should be fought by everybody. I think within the different ethno-racial communities, people still don't feel like they have a voice. People still feel invisible because they have HIV. They feel dirty, which is something that I've seen throughout my work in the HIV/AIDS field. and it's slowly changing. We're slowly moving in the right direction, but we still need the support of the broader community. We still need the support of the people that are in positions to help and give a voice to the people that are suffering in silence.
I think that stigma, HIV/AIDS stigma still kills people, right? People aren't seeking treatment. People aren't really taking care of themselves. Communities are afraid to have a conversation, and that continues to kill people, right? It puts more people at risk by not having a conversation. So from my perspective as a religious leader, I think that more and more importantly, religious leaders have to have the conversations about health. I think that we all have different views of theology and holy scriptures and this kind of thing, but at the bottom line of it all is the health of a human being, and we really need religious leaders need to consider what's at risk here. Is saving the life of one human being important, or is it not important? My own tradition says that, to save the life of one person is if one saves the life of one person, it's as if one has saved the lives of all humanity. So if religious leaders from my own community, the Muslim community, and other faith leaders can do something about talking, having a conversation about seeking out the knowledge, about assisting people, of exercising their leadership against HIV/AIDS, it would save lives. And really, truly, that's some of the thing that is important right now for religious leaders, and it's a major aspect of stigma. Many religious people don't want to have that conversation, and I'm hoping that we can start having that conversation, and it can lead to action that is positive, and that the stigma can be decreased because of our conversation and our actions as religious leaders.
Apart from dialogue with community leaders, what other strategies can we use to address HIV stigma, homophobia, transphobia, and other injustices in our communities?
I think some of the strategies that we can use to address these issues is just keep giving knowledge, just giving the people the power of knowing what they're talking about, giving the people the power of, if they hear an injustice going on, stand up for themselves and have a voice for the people that they can have a voice, or have a voice in front of people when something is going on, that you can defend the people and you can educate other people to give the knowledge and understanding that everybody deserves. Because I think HIV sees no color, HIV sees no race. So I think if we all get together as one community trying to fight social injustices that come from different backgrounds, from different cultural backgrounds, because sometimes we come from those stigmas to Canada, I think it's very important that we as a community as a whole, we can work together to achieve a goal of just living as human beings together in peace.
From my perspective, I think that faith leaders need to do the right thing and lead. But that leading doesn't necessarily mean, well, you're going to bring people along with you. It means taking steps that might be unpopular. It means being seen on the front lines. It means engaging people. It means being seen as I'm going to be tested and be photographed being tested. It means being seen in outreach to communities that are part of this whole HIV/AIDS network. It means membership on committees and boards around HIV/AIDS treatment and stigma reduction issues. It means participation, and I think that beyond the dialogue needs to be action, and that's where religious leaders can start.
So, Michael and Alex, do you have additional comments or closing remarks?
Well, I'm really happy to be part of this whole CHAMPS exercise, and it has really inspired me to do more I'm looking forward to working with Muslim communities and other communities and faith leaders around getting involved in HIV/AIDS and stigma reduction and social activism around HIV/AIDS. And I'm really thankful for the opportunity and the training that CHAMPS has provided, and all the people that have been involved. It's really been productive and really instrumental in getting me out of the hole that you spoke of earlier. Thank you.
For myself, I think what I want to say is just thank you to everybody, like the participants of the CHAMP research study, all the investigators of the CHAMP research study. I've learned so much. Like, I have discovered a route in my life that I didn't know that I could take before, that I'm not afraid to say what I think and stand by what I mean. And I think a lot of that is thanks to CHAMP. And I've learned a great deal about research, which I'm forever thankful.
This is our first episode, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Please feel free to get involved. Send us your feedback, comments, and suggestions for future topics at the email address below, or visit the website for more information. Together, we can make a difference. Stay tuned, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.